I mean, I literally know this has nothing to do with the tanks, but they're just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome in Between Two Beards. I'm Justin, aka Dub.
I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be reviewing a tank/tanks that we have been using for a while now.
Yeah, these have been out for quite a while, and we know we're pretty late to the game on this, but you know, it's a review.
It still need to be reviewed.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of new vapors coming in every day that need to know about these tanks.
It's a fantastic tank. We both use these daily. I mean, I use mine literally every day, and it's my favorite tank that I own so far, spoiler alert. But we're going to dive down really close, really quick, and open one for you.
TFV8 Big Baby and the Baby Beast.
That would help if we introduced it. So, yeah, we're going to go down close and show you one in the box really quick, and then we'll come back out and talk about it for a few minutes. So, be right back. Alright guys, here's a quick up close with the Smok Baby Beast. Here's the box itself. Got a couple QR codes and all that stuff. A bunch of information on the back here. And then a picture of a few different coil heads. There's a lot of coil options for this tank. It's a little overwhelming actually. Take the sleeve off. And under here, you'll have the tank itself right here. I've got mine obviously right here. Here's the stock drip tip it came with. We'll talk about this in a minute. And then it has a 510 drip tip adapter, which is always nice to see. Pull this off. We have a quality passcode card, and then we have the actual user manual itself. Shows you how to take the thing apart and everything. Other than that, then we have a couple vape bands, which I don't use, and then a bag of extra O-rings and an extra top seal, which is nice. And then they actually give you the red O-rings if you want to change the color of those. It comes with the orange one stock. And then there's some screws in there for the RBA head. You have the spare glass for the regular tank section for the stock coil heads, and then you have the spare glass for the RBA head, which is pretty cool because it's actually taller because the RBA is a little bit bigger. And then it actually comes with the RBA head itself. Now the Baby Beast doesn't come with this, but the Big Baby Beast does, which is always nice to see. Unfortunately, mine doesn't work for some reason. Everything I've tried, it reads no atomizer or atomizer short. So I got a dud, I guess. I actually used Dubs and it does work. So I think I just got a bad one. So I mean, it is what it is. The stock coil heads on this thing are so great that I don't really even care. So anyway, we'll get all that out of the way here for a second. Here's the tank itself. We have a 25mm tank. I love how stubby this thing is. Like compared to a lot of other, 5mm capacity 25mm tanks, this thing is tiny compared to those. Let's pull it off of the mod here real quick. This is not the stock drip tip. This right here is, and I'm sorry, but I absolutely hate this thing. It's unnecessarily big, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Thankfully, Goon style drip tips, all of the Geek Vape Griffin drip tips and everything, those do fit on here. So that's what I've been using, is the one that came on my Griffin. The big star of the show with all these Smok tanks is this top fill section, which is so great. You've got the little notch there. You just push down a little bit and flip her open. One thing that I think we both agree on is we'd like to see that fill port just a little bit bigger. But other than that, then you've obviously got your tank section. And all right, down here at the bottom, we do have a dual airflow, and there is a stopper on both sides, which is always nice. And then to get this thing apart, what I have to do, and we're going to go into this a little bit more in depth in our pros and cons list, but this thing is an absolute pain in the ass to get apart. So what I end up normally doing more times than not is I unscrew the top just enough to where it breaks free, and then I flip it over so I don't lose any of my juice, and then I can unscrew the bottom. And then that gets us to our coil head. Right now I have the 0.15, I believe this is the X4 coil in here. Of all the ones I've tried, this is my favorite. This is just the one I prefer. The flavor is absolutely amazing. The airflow is great. Dub is going to read off a few specs of this tank for us here while I put this guy back together.
Alright guys, the specs are pretty much already stated in the up close here, but it's basically a stainless steel made tank with a various amount of colors. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Right.
24.5mm by 56mm.
I was wrong on that. I apologize, guys.
Capacity of 5 milliliters, which is really the only thing that distinguishes the Big Baby from the Baby Beast.
Right.
And the fact that they are both 510 thread connections. The TFVA Baby, which is the smaller of the two, has a capacity of 3 milliliters, and its size is 22 millimeter by 53 millimeter. Also, once again, constructed of stainless steel.
All right, guys. I mean, basically, you can obviously see the difference here is just the size of these two things. I mean, other than that, they have the exact same top fill system, same itty bitty little filling port. This one comes with an actual, in my opinion, usable size drip tip, and then
510, I believe.
Yeah, this one actually does come with a 510 drip tip. I'm sorry, whereas the other one is, as I stated, more goon sized. So, and then everything else is literally exactly the same. And we're gonna go ahead and go back out and talk about these tanks for a minute. So, be right back.
That was the up close of the Big Baby and, of course, the Baby Beast.
Right.
Now, I want to reiterate, guys, the only real difference between these two tanks, they use the exact same coils.
Right.
The only distinguishable difference is the juice capacity,
overall size and juice capacity,
and of course the size of the drip tip.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be the first to admit the Baby Beast. I have only used this for like a day, only because it doesn't have enough fucking juice capacity.
It doesn't hold enough juice for me personally at work. My wife uses the Baby Beast that came with my my Alien kit, which is great because she loves it. It works for her at the house.
That's probably the other thing to make a real quick note about to you guys is the fact the reason why this is naked without a box is because we both got these in our Alien
kit.
kits.
Yeah, right.
So I couldn't tell you what the Baby Beast by itself in its own
has
in itself.
Yeah, it comes with a couple different coils than the one that the Big Baby comes with, and it doesn't come with the RBA section.
Yeah, I got mine from
pretty much the
Alien kit. So
right.
This review coming soon.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to jump right into pros and cons. I have mostly pros.
I have mostly pros,
and 3 cons.
But the cons that I have, I fucking hate.
Yeah. This is one of those things where it's not like, oh, these are subjective cons. You might like it or you might not like it. These things kind of suck. For me, number 1 con is the drip tip that it comes with. That thing is awful. I'm sorry. It's horrible.
The nice thing about it is, though, there's so many drip tip options out there. Like, you guys can see the one that I've got on here I've been using. I believe this came from Smart Tips. And this thing, I mean, it's fucking huge.
Yeah,
but I love, it's almost like...
Anything with a goon style drip tip with O-rings on it will work just fine.
And, of course, if you want a 510, it does have the adapter.
It does come with the adapter. I like the drip tips that the Geek Vape stuff comes with, so I literally just use that, and that is just... It's been working perfect for me. Con number 2, the fill port needs to be bigger.
It just doesn't need to be bigger. It needs to be a lot
bigger.
Okay. We did it on the up close, guys, but I'm telling you right now, on the trick to this, especially if you're using something like what I use,
right.
It's too. I'll even show you real quick. It's too freaking big, and you have to fill this at an angle where you're going to get juice all over the place. It's going to look like fucking the tank just jizzed on you.
The juice that I use typically comes with a glass dropper bottle. Now, the tip of that does fit in there, no problem. But when it comes to any kind of bigger plastic bottles or bottles with bigger nozzles, my wife uses a juice from a brand called Coiled, which I can grab really quick. It comes in one of these kind of bottles, and
just
the nozzle absolutely will not fit in there, and it just gets juice everywhere. So she ended up having to put this in a smaller unicorn bottle to be able to use it. But anyway.
And on the Baby Beast, on that note, it's even worse. This kidney's even smaller, and I want to know who the fuck. My wife uses a lot of the eye drop style fillers, and even that is too fucking small to get inside this thing. I mean, I know most guys like to hear that, but not when I'm trying to fill up my fucking tank. So
now the third, and in my opinion the last con, is the airflow control ring. It has
fucking poorly designed.
Yeah, it has a stopper on both ends, which is great, but when you go to take the bottom off to replace your coil, I don't know if this happens on every one of them, but it happens on both of ours.
I've had two Big Babies so far. This one's in the blued finish, but I also have a regular one. And both tanks.
They both do it. I have the gunmetal one, so it does it too. The airflow ring goes right past the stopper, and then it gets kind of stuck.
and you got to force it back around.
Bitch to get it back on track.
You can't. It's hard to get the bottom of the tank off.
So I don't know if there's like some kind of rubber in there or some ring or something.
Something that's worn out.
That needs to be thicker or stronger or something because, like I said, when you're trying to disassemble the bottom of the tank, you will blow right past your.
Right.
And it's not hard to blow past it, but it's
hard to get back to
it. Get it back on track again.
Get it back on track.
And you won't be able to adjust your airflow if it's off the track.
Now, again, the way that I have found to kind of combat that is just I unscrew the top and then flip it upside down. Just as soon as the threads break loose, I flip it upside down. Then the bottom will come right off with the coil and everything. That's it for the cons. And I mean, those do suck. But
I have a few more.
Okay. Go right ahead.
One of my bigger cons with it, like I said, I do love the idea of how this fills. However, I'd like to see this swivel almost another degree or two over to prevent bigger juices like this.
Fair enough.
I like the fact that I don't have to unscrew anything, but at the same time, you got to be careful too when you're filling this because your O-ring will pop up, and if you're not careful, you'll scrunch that O-ring and you'll actually cut it.
I haven't had that particular issue with mine, but you don't use the same kind of bottles that he does on a regular basis.
Another issue I have with this tank is there are just too many goddamn fucking coil options.
See, I was going to list that as a pro, but okay.
Well, it's a love-hate thing. Okay, I want to do it as a pro and a con.
Okay, fair
My
enough.
biggest problem with that is you have 2.15 coils. Well, for the Novus Vapor, you know, it's hard, it's like, oh, dude, prime example, my buddy, one of my friends who who just started vaping, he's still learning about coils and everything else. He got the QAs, not the QRs, which have 4 coils instead of just
something like that.
It's weird, but
I'll put a picture up of not only all of the finish options for the tank, but I'll throw up a picture if I can find one of the different coils.
But that's what I mean. There's 2.5 coils. There's 2.4 coils. There's a 0.2 coil. There's a 0.25 coil. There's a 0.6 coil.
There's a lot of coil options.
A lot of coils.
I've tried about 4 of them. I've tried the X4, the Q4, the Q2. I've tried a bunch of them.
Is the best.
The 0.15 X4 to me, sorry about that, is in my opinion the best.
Yes,
flavor is amazing. There is a little bit of a break-in period. It's nothing terrible, but but
it's not as bad as the SE1.
About a quarter of a tank or so to get that cotton taste away.
Right.
But once you're past that break-in period, flavor is amazing.
Now another con, a big con that I have with this tank, or actually not so much the tank, but the coils. They are the most unreliable, inconsistent coils I've ever seen. Now, when I pop a new coil in my Crown SE1, I already know, unless it's just a dud coil, I'm going to get right out about 4 or 5 days out of that coil. No problems. This thing, I've gone, sometimes I'll put one in and I'll get 2 days. The next one, I'll get a week. The next one, I'll get 3 days. The next one, I'll get a week and a half. It all just depends. And I'm not really changing up juices or anything.
Yeah,
so
I have the exact same issue. I literally run one juice out of this tank, and that's Tangy Taffy from Juice Mama. That's the only juice that I run in this tank because it just tastes so good.
Road trip.
But yeah, he's absolutely right. One coil will last 3 days. The next one will last 8 days. The next one will last 3 or 4 days. And then,
I will give credit to Smok, and I know it's supposed to be called Smok, but I refuse to call it that, so I call it Smok.
I know. Yeah.
But one of the nice things about it is they do offer 5 coils in a pack, and they're only about $14.99, $16.99, depending on where you get them from. But that's kind of nice, the fact that the coils aren't super expensive. So, it is kind of a trade-off. You get some inconsistencies in the coils, but they're not super expensive compared to other coils.
The one I've got in here right now, I think this is day number 5, I believe, and it's still going strong.
This is day number 3 with me on this one, and it's vaping great.
So this particular pack I got apparently are pretty good.
I'm going to move on to my pros.
Yeah, let's go with the pros.
Okay, biggest pro that I have with this has got to be just the flavor.
It's incredible.
The flavor is amazing.
I've talked to a lot of people that hate these tanks, the whole line of the TFV8 tanks, and I stayed away from them for a long time because
we wanted to hate.
I wanted to hate this tank. I wanted to hate the Alien mod too, which we're going to talk about later, but. I don't. I love it. I'm sorry.
This
the
tank
flavor,
is amazing.
In my opinion, this has the best flavor of any sub-ohm tank I've used, in my opinion.
As much cloud and airflow as you could possibly want. That's another thing to keep in mind. With some of the higher ohm coils, you're going to get more airflow. Now, I put a 0.4 in here. I'm telling you right now, fully open, the airflow, I don't think a human has that much capacity in the lungs.
It's a lot of airflow.
It's a lot of airflow.
But yeah, pro number 1 is absolutely
the flavor.
Without a doubt, flavor. Pro number 2, for me, when I do get a good coil head, it lasts a really long time.
Yes, it does last. When you
get a good one.
You get a good one, it lasts great. Another big pro for me is going to be like I said, it's not an expensive tank.
Right, no.
It's a very, very inexpensive tank.
You can find the tank by itself. For the baby beast, they're like, what, $24, $25?
Depending on where you get them, yeah. I'd say under $30 and you can get a very nice tank.
The big baby you can find for right around $27 to $30.
Right.
So they're not expensive.
That's a big pro for me. Oh, probably and this probably goes right up with flavor for me. This is probably the first tank I've ever had that there is next to no leakage.
Absolutely have never had a single drop of
I've
juice.
had a little bit come out the bottom of the airflow every great once in a while, but it doesn't happen often.
I'm not even just saying that, and I've never had a tank that
I can't even tell you how nice it's not to get a facial from my tank every day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a porn star.
I've had a little bit of condensation come out of the bottom, but it's not leaking juice. Yeah, that's absolutely huge.
Yeah,
I love one of my favorite things is the size of the tank. It's a wider tank,
but it's a little stubbier, so the center of gravity is a little better.
Yeah,
like
it holds 5 mils of juice still. So I mean, I've got the Crown 3 right here, which is a 24.5 millimeter tank.
If it's 24 mil tank, man, I mean that's going to be like
that holds 5 mils of juice, and it's quite a bit. I mean, it's not a lot taller, but it's a bigger tank, and
right.
I like. And I think they did that by making the coil heads just a little bit smaller, but they are great coil heads. So anyway, yeah, I mean that's if you broke yours or lost yours today, dropped it in the toilet, whatever, you're gonna buy another one.
Oh, absolutely.
I would absolutely.
Actually, I bought two.
He's already bought two.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking real serious about getting a third because I want a stainless steel one on a mod that I got.
Yeah,
fucking tits.
Yeah. I bought the. I originally bought the big baby by itself, and then I ended up buying the Alien kit separately and gave that tank to my wife because she really liked the way this vaped, and she just wanted a little bit smaller one. But yeah, they're great. Overall,
like I said, the biggest issue with the out of the box is going to be the drip tip. Like I said, that drip tip is
horrible.
Just junk.
It's
horrible. It's like it literally feels like you're sucking a whale penis because it's like
yeah, it's bad.
Like, oh god, no, it's good, dude.
I think for me, the pros far outweigh the cons.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I realized when I first got this, because like I said, I wanted to hate this tank. I wanted to hate Smok because we've had some bad experiences.
Here's the story behind it. Let's go into the story behind that. Okay. 2 years ago-ish, the TFE4 came out, and the day it was released, I ordered one and couldn't wait for it to come in because the top fill was awesome and it was supposed to do 120 watts and blah, 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 blah. I used it for about 3 days, and I literally gave it to a friend of mine. I hated it. He wanted to try it, and he threw it away. So that was my first initial experience with Smok as far as tanks goes. My first initial experience with them as a company was an old Smok mod that literally shorted out in my hands and burnt the shit out of my lungs. So I kind of really wanted to hate this company, and then when this stuff started coming around, I was like,
it blew up.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody. What do you got? I got a Smok Alien. Exactly. I got a Smok Alien. I got a Smok Alien. Oh, I run the baby beast. I run the I run the. You know, it was worth. And we decided
it was worth investigating.
We said one day, hey, we should do a YouTube channel and start vape reviews. And we're like, well, we can't ignore these. And now it's become like this tank and the SE1, in my personal opinion, are the two best tanks for every day.
Right. For
that I've had. Use. The flavor on this one's amazing. The air flows as much or as little as you want.
Right.
The biggest thing is just learning all the coils, which coil works for you,
right.
where
try
the best
if you have a vape shop that sells each coil they sell, buy one of each and try them and find the one that works best for you.
And do me a favor, if you're in Central Ohio and you have a vape shop, just make sure you carry lots of 1.5 coils and don't forget to order them.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, guys, I mean, out of 10 on this tank, I'm giving it an 8 because it's just.
I'll go with an 8.
No tank is perfect.
Right.
This does have its. It's
got its quirks
about it, but you know what? All things considered, compared to some other tanks, this thing's fucking tits.
It's amazing. Man. Yeah, I love it. I'm glad I finally got over myself and went ahead and bought one to try it out because I don't regret it at all.
Right.
But,
like I said, it's a beautifully crafted tank as well. I mean,
yeah,
some of these finishes.
As far as the build quality goes, the only issue I have is the airflow ring. Other than that, everything is.
Yeah,
is
I haven't had an issue at either one of my tanks. Like I said, with leaking or anything. And I mean, I'm telling you right now, guys, I've got 2-3 months invested between two of these tanks. and yet to have a problem.
Right.
Like I said, and I love the options. Like, I mean, you can get any fucking color you want. You can get any kind of color O-rings you want.
Yep.
You know, it's just nice to have those options. But I think that's what we're going to wrap this up, guys.
That's going to be about it. Overall, absolutely recommend the Smok TF-V8 line. I haven't used the full-size Beast. I have used the Sense Blazer. I have one of the Sense Blazers, and I use the TF-V8 coils in it.
Right.
And those are fantastic, so I imagine the full-size Cloud Beast is awesome, too.
I feel bad. We kind of neglected the baby a little bit. But you know what?
Everything we've said goes for that one, too.
Yeah, this baby's great. This is just a smaller scale. You'll be seeing us use a lot more of this when we get on the boat.
Yeah, yeah. We wanted these smaller tanks to take to. I don't know if anybody that's not from Ohio knows Cedar Point.
Cedar Point.
We wanted something smaller that we didn't
we don't
care
want
about
this big
as much.
this thing's got some weight to it, so we want something smaller that we didn't need.
On a different note, though, with the baby Beast, my wife hasn't had any of those issues with the airflow ring going past the stoppers,
right?
And the bottom comes off just fine. So I think that's something with this tank. But yeah, anyway, that's going to do it, guys. I absolutely recommend trying out the TF-V8 line of tanks. And
all right, guys. I think that's where we're going to wrap. Yeah. So we highly recommend it. We have the entire line. Yep. If you like the video, guys, give us a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Admageddon's going on right now, so we want you to know we're not making a lot off these videos.
We're not making anything off these videos.
We're trying, though. We're trying.
But check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the same, inbetween2beards, the number 2, one word. And
we also, like I said, if anybody wants to get a hold of us professionally or whatever, send us information or anything, our email is inbetween2beards@gmail.com. Yep. We always leave that out, so I try to. And once again, guys, just another update. We are still going to the Columbus VapeCon here in June.
Yep, June.
We're going to continue to update you guys that on every week, just to let you know. We'll give you more details as we draw closer to that date. Right. So I think that's all we got.
That's about it, guys. So until next time, remember, vape on.